Alright guys, welcome back to the shop, and today we're going to be installing the headers on the motor. I did get my header locking bolts in, and so we're going to go ahead first and install the collectors on the ends because they're real easy to get to right now with them off the engine. But before we do that, I wanted to show you kind of some stuff I got done with the cab yesterday that didn't get included in that video of welding up the cab, and so here it is. Alright, so the first thing you notice is everything's off the firewall. Anything that could come off is off. So the windshield wiper mechanism or transmission, whatever you want to call them, the motor, all the little knick-knack pieces, bolts, got that off. Now the firewall is ready to be scrubbed down clean. Didn't do nothing else in here besides welding up those three places, but I did get the windshield, the back window out, and also removed the trim. Now on the trim, this piece right here is holds the corner piece in. As you can see, it's metal, and it's got a stud that goes all the way through the cab with a little nut on it, and I can't really access it real easy, but I am going to have to take that off somehow or another. These little white plastic pieces, they just pop off. They're supposed to have two little ears on each end, and so they're replaceable. Just pop it off this way, pop it up, and there's 5 of those across here, and then another one of these over here on this side. So to get the trim off, you just kind of pull up and unhook it and then pull down, or either way, down and then up. This was a little more tricky because I wasn't sure what was here, but it came off fairly. Actually, this side came off really good. Matter of fact, I think you can just, once you get that on there, we'll take a piece of the trim here. This is the cab molding, and it's going to go like this right here, and I believe you can slide that in between here, like, I don't know if I can get the camera up here, like this, and get it started, and then just slide it on back. I believe that's what you can do, but to do a decent paint job, we got to get these off. There's no reason for them to be on here. You can see the gray line actually extends below the molding trim, because you always want to hide a hard edge, and that'd be a hard edge there. The other hard edge down here gets hidden behind this vinyl trim that's got to come off. So anyway, guys, I got to have a 7mm wrench fit these little screws, and I don't have one down here, so that's coming up. I got to go to the shop and do that. It's kind of funny, when they painted this, it looks like the trim was out, but I don't really understand why they taped it right here. They should have just painted this. I mean, you can see where the paint almost gets to the end, but they could have just went ahead and painted that whole piece and taped it from the back side. That's what I'm planning on doing. Alright, so we're going to get started over here on our little makeshift table. Actually, I may bring them over here. Oh, and I got another part in the other day. A new carburetor, new rebuilt carburetor. I hope it's a good one. This did come from eBay, but it looks nice. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But it's the Quadrajet. It looks real nice. Got the electric choke on it. Kind of similar to the one I bought off eBay before that didn't work, but this is coming from a different company. So they say they're 100%. Well, I don't know what they say. All units 100% flow tested. So I don't know exactly what that entails, but hopefully it's hopefully it's good. So we're gonna bring the exhaust over here and put the collectors on it. So I'm gonna set you up for that and we'll get started. Alright, so first thing we're gonna do is get rid of these little plastic clips. I'm not really sure what they put them on there for, but they did not like to come off. Got the little plastic BBs in them. Not sure what them's good for. Where these little BBs come from. Collector and plates. So our plate's gonna go in like that. You would think it would be a like a donut gasket in there, but the way these bolt together, they don't really use one. They use a gasket like this. We're gonna move our flange down to the end. We got our collector with our flange plate on it, and then we've got the exhaust washer that's gonna be sandwiched in between. So we'll run the bolt through here and through the gasket. I'm sorry, I meant gasket, not washer. And into the other plate here. And then we'll put a lock washer on here. And that we'll do the same thing for the other two. Alright, so we'll tighten these up. And I don't think it really matters which way you put your bolt. It's just you're gonna see this side before you. Well, it's all gonna, you know, it really don't matter. You're gonna be welding exhaust to this side, so I don't see where it really makes one bit of difference. Snug them up. I love these little gear wrenches. And we'll flip it back over and snug the other two up. This one good snug. I always like to go back at least one time, make sure that they're all pretty well even. Alright, since that's done, now we're ready to do the second one. And I'm not going to bother videoing that one. Once you do one, you've done them all. So we'll get that done and we'll be ready to mount them. Included in this header kit are these fiber coated gaskets. They're kind of really similar to an OEM style. Now I have had issues in the past using these style gaskets. So what I like to do is use some ultra copper. And ultra copper is very heat resistant RTV. What I like to do is take a little ultra copper and go around the engine head. Now this is just my preference. I'm not saying that you absolutely have to do this, but in my experience of doing headers and exhaust is if you ever have a gasket leak, you just about have to use this stuff to get it to seal off. So why not just go ahead and use it to start with? And I did this same thing on that dually, and I have, knock on wood, have not had any kind of header leaks. I use the same locking style header bolts, and I would recommend, even though they are a bit pricey, I think it was $50 something for that set. In my opinion, if you're going to do headers, it's worth the effort and the time and the money to do that, to use the locking bolts, because regular exhaust bolts will loosen up on you. I'm not gonna seal it to the header. You can. It's just me, it's just easier not to. These bolt holes lined up. It just seems to me like they blow out at the heads more than they do at the manifold. Alright, so now just don't have washers on them. Let me show you the comparison between what I bought and what they give you. So the black ones are supplied with the headers, and this is the locking one I bought. They're the same exact size. I think they're an inch. So before we lose our gasket here, stick. We'll go ahead and get this thing on. One thing about that ultra copper, it is messy. Lost my hole here. Rest of them on. There's 6 bolts per side, so there's 12 to a pack of these header bolts. This one right here, gun, that's got to go in. How's that gonna go in? This one right here, I don't know if y'all can see what I'm saying. This joker right here, this tube needs to come out just a little bit further and bend, because now there's no way to get this stinking bolt in here without removing all the other bolts. I'm not sure the damn thing will even go in. Well, Ed, it looks like you're right, bud. He said he always had to fool with damn headers and bend them a little bit. Cracking the damn ceramic off of them. Dang, I ain't never seen nothing like this crap. mean, how do they expect you to freaking, what do you expect to do? Put a stud there? Now I'm gonna have to mash this tube in somehow or another to get enough clearance to get this stinking bolt in there. It just will not go. Either that or I'm gonna have to wallow out this hole. I may just wallow the hole out. I think that would be the best bet. Alright, so I wallowed that damn bolt hole out. Of course, I ended up catching a little bit of my tube. But now I'm a little worried that the damn thing is going to leak. It is very close to the surface there. Just started. I just don't understand. It might have been a factory fuck up. I don't know. Pardon my language, but I'm not sure now that this bolt even screw in. I'm gonna have to go get a wrench. Damn. God. I don't really want to. I think that thing's going to have to be. I may have to put it on first. Alright, let's see if we can get the bolts in here. On the end over here. You can see it's really that the head of this bolt's rubbing on the header tube. I can only get just a little bit of wrench on it. Of them up. I hadn't run across that problem, and that I didn't run across it in that dude. Of course, now I was using different manufacturers. Well, it might have been made by Hedman. It was sold and branded under Summit, but you know, Hooker might have made it, Hedman might have made it, but the biggest difference between it and this one is these tube diameter was smaller on it, even though it had a bigger collector. It had about a 1/4 inch smaller tube. So that probably made a big difference in that. If that had been a 1/4 inch smaller right here, probably wouldn't have no issues. Usually you can, I think they're usually 30 pounds, 30 foot-pounds. And you should be able to fill that. When the wrench goes to bouncing on you, it's probably tight enough. I think that's tight enough. And now we need to put on these little things here that keep it from bagging off. And they're basically like that. This part here goes to the header tube, and it'll keep it from that bolt from backing off. Of course, it helps to have the bolt where it needs to be. This one's got to be tightened up just a hair on get the pretty tight. I don't know. I do have had to modify these little hickeys. I think you can turn them, flip them upside down now. Let's see if that. Paper was there. Yeah, there's different ways of putting these on. Let's see. But they should fit one way or the other. This don't want to go on. It goes on this way. I want it to go on this way. Well, maybe that's going too tight. Maybe it ain't tight enough. I don't know. Well, let's try a different one. Let's see what this one right here do. Jesus, all of them gonna give trouble going on? Now, I have had to modify. I think this is one of them that's got to be modified to fit. It's so close to the tube that is even too thick. So we'll modify that one to fit that one. Let's try this one. This one works perfect. That's what it should do. That bottom should be right up against the manifold, and then you take your little E-clip and pop it on. Like that. Well, one down. Alright guys, to finish up this video, just want to show you I did get the other side on. There was only 2 of these little clips I didn't have to modify to fit, and I had issues with this bolt and this bolt. I had to get them in first because they were too close to the tubes. I didn't have no problem getting the bolt in the header, but to get them lined up to go in the hole right, I had to get those started first. And once I got them started, then the rest of them just came on like they're supposed to. So it looks good though, and it was a pain in the butt to do. As far as the lock and header bolts, I think they're a good idea. You're just gonna have to play around with getting them to work, getting these little clips to work right. I took them over to the grinder. I had to grind a few of the corners down on these. Through here, I pretty much just cut the end of them off, but hopefully they stay on there. And as long as you leave a little bit where it won't just slide off, they should stay. All of them's E-clipped. But nope, I don't see any frame clearance issues. We got a 1/2 inch or better clearance there, and plenty of clearance on the other side. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and please rate, comment, and subscribe if you hadn't.